This week there was a warning from the new Greek government that Athens would object to any further sanctions on Russia over rising violence in Ukraine. And let's go more on this from Nina Schick, who's a political analyst from Open Europe Today, a think tank based in London. Thanks for coming in. So we heard from the Greeks originally that they were going to block these any further sanctions, and now it seems these sanctions have been voted. What do you think the Greek government is up to with this business?
Well, there's been a lot of speculation that the Greeks might be doing this in order to use as a bargaining chip to get their debt reduced. However, the interesting thing is that the parties in the new Greek government, SYRIZA and the independent Greeks, they've always been against EU sanctions on Russia. So although the debt relief story might make it, an interesting twist to an already dramatic story, the fact is that they've always thought that the EU should be more pro-Russian and do more trade with Russia. So it's very much a position that they've held, which they're continuing to do so.
And there's a certain amount of anxiety in Europe, isn't there, about the kind of close ties with Russia and what that could lead to, and particularly with regards to NATO?
Oh, yes, but the thing is that one must remember that although the Greek government is the latest in a series of, to say that they're against further sanctions on Russia, this is not a new story. We have other countries in Europe which have been vocally opposed. Hungary, notably, the Czech Republic has been dragging its feet, even Italy and France. So this story about the EU splits on Russia and further action on Russia is not a new one.
What about, though, just to go back to Greece and its positions at the moment, why are there these close ties with Russia? Explain the background to this.
Well, they just believe, so SYRIZA and the independent Greeks who are now in government, they believe that the EU should have a more favourable policy towards Russia in terms of trade. And that is indeed one of the first things that the new Prime Minister of Greece said once after he came into power, that the EU should, extend their trade ties to Russia. And interestingly, one of the biggest power players in this situation, Angela Merkel, has also suggested that perhaps the EU, if the situation were to de-escalate as such, should have more of a trading relationship with the Russian Eurasian Customs Union.
And presumably it's also in the interest of Vladimir Putin at the moment to have an ally in that area, is it?
Absolutely, but I think that one of the problems with the EU sanctions on Russia is that there was never any defined endpoint or clear goal as to what these sanctions should achieve. So if the aim of the sanctions perceptibly was to defend the territorial integrity of Ukraine, that's obviously failed. So we can tell that economic motivations are not the driving force for Putin. Often analysts say that the situation has gotten as bad as it has because in the beginning, there was a very black or white choice about whether Ukraine could trade with Russia or the EU, and a more reasonable approach would have been to, have all three trading together.
Okay, Nina Schick, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.